Hey folks, it's Maxwell back again, and now we're running that said mentioned pay-per-view from the last video. It is AEW Dynasty 2028. So in this one, I'll basically just explain everything as we go along, my reason for doing things, why I'm booking things a certain way. It's a very AEW-like show, as you can see there with the 2026 model. Very few angles, enough to make it up to the percentage, and then the rest is matches, and I give the matches a good amount of time. As I say, realism is out the window. We are the number one company in the world. We are the most financially backed company in the world. So for this kind of event, I'll be in Madison Square Garden. We've got a legendary band and we've got a special set. Just try to give myself every opportunity to get that 100 rating because they obviously will boost that up. So Dynasty 2026, as you can look at we'll go through the two historical shows. That was like 11 months into my save because I started it in May 2025. So already by this point, WWE had decided not to renew the contract of Roman. Maybe it was financial, which is quite ironic given what's happened recently in real life. And obviously we brought him in to kind of like believe that he was above AEW, which is ironic because that is the proper storyline I'm kind of going to be running with over the next couple of months. So 2026, we saw Roman defeat Will Ospreay to retain the AEW World title. I had Willow Nightingale defeat Mercedes Moné in a Texas Death Match to win the Women's World title. Admittedly, gimmick matches I don't use too often, I just have straight up matches, but every so often we do bring in a Texas Death Match, although we do have Blood and Guts like literally in 3 weeks' time. Other matches, now WWE star Takeshita defeating Roderick Strong to retain the Continental Championship, and just to name off another one with Okada defeat Swerve. Fast forward to a year ago, which was also in Madison Square Garden, we had a 100 rated show here, and this one was the inaugural Survival of the Fittest tournaments, where we saw Kenny Omega defeat Kazuchika Okada to win that in a 98, and we saw Mercedes Moné defeat Jamie Hayter and Io Shirai to win the women's version. I believe at that point I was still kind of tinkering with what I wanted to be the format, hence why it was more a triple threat match in the women's rather than what you'll now see in the men's going forward. Zack Sabre Jr. winning a fatal 4-way to win the Continental Championship over Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia and Eddie Edwards. If I recall, Eddie Edwards accidentally won it at one point, so I wouldn't be surprised that I basically selected the wrong winner and didn't pay attention. So I'm assuming that's how that went. Eddie Kingston over Rush, I'll get it right at one point. Indy Hartwell defeated Rio to retain the TBS title. A lot of people were giving Indy like promises to like put her over, and like she was getting mega over. So I was hoping if I just gave her matches against good competitors, she would maybe improve technically. Not really too much. Ospreay over Gabe Kidd. Bryan Danielson over Roman, as I was just trying to get Roman's pop on everybody else at that point. Nice wee cheeky tactic there. Swerve over Darby Allin, and MJF on Jon Moxley. Plenty of other matches though. As you can see there, Ricochet over AJ Styles, Bianca Belair over Megan Bain. So just trying hundreds of different things. I say realism completely out the window. So tonight's show, we will have 16 segments, and we'll just jump straight into it, and I'll explain everything as we go along. We've used a few creative angles and creative finishes as well. So, Dynasty 2028, held by All Elite Wrestling, is being held in front of a sold-out Madison Square Garden. So I went with a 10-minute work in the crowd angle here. This is basically like an opening vignette for the two finals. Obviously, the Ring of Honor, we've started to find out who's going to be in that. So obviously, this is the Collision main event, which is Okada and Will Ospreay. We'll just say that Will Ospreay's decided to put the world title on the line as well, and Mystico and Rush for the Dynamite side. So 88 for this one. Performance of Rush was good. Okada is getting stale. I'm going to have a lot of it will probably pop up being stale. I was kind of just wanting to get through the episodes of television until I got to like the WWE stars getting here, and then that's where everything was going to be like proper sorted, stale gimmicks, turns, you name it, was going to be properly changed. So opening contest was off the Shimmer brand, and it was about for the TBS Championship. It was about had some superb wrestling and good heat, which saw Starlight Kid defeat Very in 2050 with the Sharanau, if that's how it's pronounced, giving Starlight Kid her third defence of the TBS Championship. So 86 for the wrestling, 73 for the crowd, and an 89 segment overall. I believe with this particular product, 20 minutes is like the ideal threshold to get a really good score. You can still get good ones between 15 and 18, but I just feel over 20, and I like giving my wrestlers as many minutes as possible to put on a good match. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it'll say we're giving them too much time. But here I feel like Salik has been someone that's shone coming out of the Survival of the Fittest. Venny's technicals and a few other attributes are very, very good as well. She's just recently come up from developmental, which helped her kind of shoehorn those kind of wee tweaks to her craft, and at the same time also got her popularity up. So that gave us someone that was ready to go, especially it's such a competitive women's division as well. But 83 for Venny, 89 for Starlight Kid. Both of them have a good chemistry, so that's obviously going to boost that as well. But yeah, we have some pretty damn good athletes in our women's division. Next up, we had a good while brawl. It saw Mark Davis defeat Samoa Joe in 15:23 with the airplane spin. This means that Mark Davis wins the TNT Championship. So wrestling here was a 74, the crowd was 72 at the segment in 81. Samoa Joe brought a 63, Mark Davis with an 84. Mark Davis has been on a mega push. He was in the tag team alongside Jake Something. I've kept him as that in this save. But I just started giving him a lot of wild brawl matches and he was absolutely delivering. It was an interesting run for Joe, obviously. Physical decline is really hitting Joe. Injuries are really hitting Joe. Like, he's not had an injury in the game, but you know that way, like, the body is just so affected. It's like orange, some cases red, so it's properly affected his performance. The TBS Championship was actually on Dynamite, and I felt like they had too many titles because they had Kevin Knight with the International Championship as well. So Joe defeat Anthony Bones for the TNT Championship, sorry. Just Anthony Bones just wasn't working. I wanted to give him an opportunity. I was giving him good promos. Promos were doing fine, but the matches just weren't hitting, and he wasn't really getting over at a good rate. So I thought, Joe's a good guy. He can have transitional champion, takes the championship, gets a bit more accolades to his belt, and he's going to be happy to put somebody like Mark Davis over. So yeah, Mark Davis is your TNT champion. Wee celebration after the match, 68 segment for Davis, colour commentary gave it a boost, and Davis is getting better at his gimmick. Solid stuff. Next up, I decided to have the number 1 seed and the number 2 seed in this particular Survivor of the Fittest group, the Group A, take each other on. And I thought, you know what, let's just put the women's title on the line as well, because that obviously boosts its prestige. It was about, they had some great wrestling and, great heat and good wrestling. Megan Bayne defeated Davina Rose in 21:06 by submission, a second defence of the women's world title. So a 75 for the wrestling, 79 crowd, 77 segment. Davina Rose with 69. Megan Bayne with an 80. I feel like in this one, they haven't given Bayley like great attributes in this, which is fair enough. Would you say she's world class? It's like she's very, very good at what she does, but there isn't any stat I would say is like a world class elite level. So she's kind of like that high 60s, but nothing into the 70s where I kind of go 70s you can push. But she's still got obviously somebody you can work with fantastically with a developing talent like Megan Bayne, who even at this point is still only 29 in the save. And I feel like because Megan was always going to go over, you can put the women's title on the line, a wee bit of prestige to that, and yeah, overall results in a good segment. Meant to mention as well, I do not have crowd management on. I feel like if I had crowd management on, I would be here all day trying to book a show. And I get very frustrated seeing people booking shows very, very fast. And I'm wondering, why can't I do that? So that is a big reason why I don't do crowd management either. Is it half-arsed in a lot of stuff? Possibly, but I just want it to be a quick experience. I feel with me in any sort of simulation game, a big thing for me is just the evolving world, changing the way the future could be. It was the same with Football Manager, it's the same here, and it's the same in F1 Manager as well. I just love seeing a different universe unfold. Next up, we had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors defeated the Young Bucks in 22:18 when Gabe Kidd pinned Matthew Jackson with a sick kick. Connors was weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's performance. You can see there 83 wrestling, 69 crowd, and a 77 segment. Everybody with fantastic scores there apart from Clark Connors. So just to explain this one, my tag division's been terrible. I've been very bad at booking it because it's focused so much on singular tournaments, so I think we might see a big tag team one maybe in the latter half before the Continental Classic, even though it does get a tag team version as well. Connors has just signed. His contract was up just a wee bit before everyone else's, before the big influx happens. Gabe Kidd have pushed fantastically. He was pretty much borderline main event, but I feel like it's a good chance to take Gabe away from the main event scene, establish Clark Connors effectively, and this program was just a case of the Bucks in a matchup on Dynamite, and they got assaulted by Kidd and Connors. pretty simple and effective there. Dealt with the split between Gabe Kidd and Swerve Strickland. It was just a case of we both had the same aim at the time, now we don't, so that's cool. You know, he can do what he wants kind of thing. So like, because Swerve has turned babyface since, so it was a kind of just a mutual thing between them. I didn't want to dive into Gabe Kidd versus Swerve Strickland just yet. Next up, we had some good wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd. FTR defeated the Midnight Hour. They look familiar. And 14:54 when Cash Wheeler pinned Kofi with a handful of the tights. This was a Steal the Show matchup. FTR with the second defence of the World Tag Team titles. Kofi's a weak link. He was off his game. Really off his game. Austin Creed on 87 though was fantastic. A 77 wrestling, 67 for the crowd, and a 76 for the segment. I feel FTR are extremely tricky to book because of basically the mentalities of Cash and Dax, especially Dax. The amount of times it's like he's unhappy, he's irritated, he's arguing with somebody, or he wants to fight RJ City, my morale officer. So they've got that as well. They were covering just kind of matches, mostly against, I'd say, the Viking, Raid or War Machine as they would be in this one, a couple against Private Party, who'll have to split up because those two were arguing. But basically, I had Austin Creed signed, but I'd never debuted him. I had him on the roster for ages and just never signed him, never used him. I wanted him on my roster. Kofi was a free agent. WWE let him go. He obviously is like 46 at this point. And yeah, when the news broke in real life, they were gone. I thought, well, you know, there is a chance they could show up in AEW. I'm like, you know what? Let's bring them in. But I think the big plan is at one point to have a kind of fatal four-way type matchup. FTR, Midnight Hour, Young Bucks. I've got the Motor City Machine Guns lying around as well. Plenty of other tag teams. Might even throw Mark Davis back with Kyle Fletcher for one more match. But yeah, I didn't want to just chuck the titles on them straight away. I hate, obviously, giving someone a defeat swell in their careers, but I think sometimes it's just a case of you can have it in AEW where they get a couple of wins and then it's like, oh, you need to step up if you want to be here, kind of thing. So, FTR, pick up the win here. Next up was an exceptional matchup. Swerve Strickland defeats MJF in 26:08 with the Swerve Stomp. Everything about the matchup was, designed to be an epic match. So I made this an epic. So wrestling was 94, crowd was a 96, and the segment itself was a 93. Spectacular stuff. Swerve 95, MJF 94. Creative finish was a success. So I believe these two, I think they were in the same team. I think that was the angle. The angle was basically Swerve cost MJF some sort of victory by taking the losing fall. MJF just snapped and attacked him. Attacked Nana, attacked Swerve, and then the babyface obviously turned as the next time Swerve comes back and get his rematch. His revenge, and then attacks MJF. So that way, simple, basic, effective booking, and then you get the big feud between them. Good thing is, because I don't know how many of these videos I'll make, I can kind of give away a spoiler of the idea of the plan going forward. Swerve picks up the victory over MJF, and I think you're going to get in that position where, kind of similar to real life probably, where MJF gets going to get frustrated. He's like, I want a rematch, I want to get my win, I can't have this hanging over me. So he's either not beat Swerve before, I think that is the case, or he's only beaten once, but Swerve has the upper hand, and it's, you know, what MJF's ego is like. So that's the kind of way I want to plan this one between them. Next up was the Trios Championship, and a lot of gimmicks getting stale here. It was a decent matchup. Hook, Adam Priest and Lee Moriarty defeat the team of Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly and Nick Nemeth in 14:10 when Hook submitted Nick Nemeth with the Red Rum and made this a storytelling matchup because I wasn't sure how it was going to go. So the few things to explain here is Bryan Danielson in Ring of Honor has basically been kind of getting into the head of a lot of people on the Ring of Honor brand, because Bryan Danielson is my user character and he is a heel in this universe. It's kind of like he's on kind of fight camp. He's like been taking Lee Moriarty under his wing. He's been saying to Adam Priest, if you want to make it, you know, just listen to me. And then Hook eventually snapped and turned heel, and he's like, I've been losing a lot in this Battle of the Fittest, Survival of the Fittest tournament. I want to get winning championships. I want to improve. So I felt like, yeah, you can line them together. And Orange Cassidy, I think it's my Continental champion. He's got a belt anyway, and he's been doing very well. I think it is the Continental. And Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy I want to keep in their own way. But Nick Nemeth was somehow there. I don't know how that happened. It was just take the belt off him. But 76 is pretty good. And yeah, Nemeth will just be there to put people over. But I feel like the way my company's set out is like Ring of Honor is for a lot of technical wrestlers. And that's also where if you come up for developmental, you'll probably go first. just to wrestle those technical wrestlers to get better. That's my plan anyway. Next up, good matchup. Mercedes Moné defeated Masha Slamovich in 2037 with the bank statement. This was a Group E match. Both of them have great chemistry together. 88 versus 68 and an 80 segment. For this one, I just really didn't have an opponent that had a lot of popularity behind them. For Mercedes, she basically faced the dinner group that's over. So I went with Masha just purely because I felt like it was a good match. Obviously, don't condone anything she's done, but I need to put her on a match, so yeah, that's why she's here. Backstage, we see Brian with the Trios champions, that is Priest, Hook, and Moriarty, and that was a character development, because I feel like they're improving their characters, they're showcasing they're kind of, alright, maybe you had the right idea, and Brian dragged them to a 67. Next up, Bout the had superb wrestling and great heat. Walter defeated Daniel Garcia in 28:03 with the folding powerbomb. This was in the Survival of the Fittest Group B for Ring of Honor. 88, 80 and 89, 83 for Garcia, 93 for Walter, both with great chemistry. That's good to know, especially them both being heels. It's probably one of the better performances with Daniel Garcia. He's probably a victim in this save of just being pop capped. I think he is low 70s, 72 possibly. Try to get him to put weight on, but he won't listen to me, so he's stuck at that until he decides to do so. But knowing these two can put this type of match on gives me a belief that if we ever turn Daniel Garcia face, this could hit the 90s, which is good to know. Should make Walter the champion as well of that group, so that'll probably mean we have a Bryan Danielson-Walter matchup at one point. Whether I put that in on a random episode of Ring of Honor, I could make it at Blood and Guts, which is the 3rd of May, and then that would ensure we have our Battle of the Fittest winner, our final anyway, at Double or Nothing. The problem is I would want all my world titles on the line, so it gets a bit tricky when obviously Walter is a world champion, but we'll see. Next up, exceptional matchup. Mystico defeated Rush in 25:43 with La Mystica. 91 for the wrestling, 91 for the crowd, and a 79 for the segment. So obviously this one has been absolutely hampered with the lack of psychology, so that's a massive penalty there. Mystico won 85, Rush won 87 though. So I put Mystico over because I felt like the way I want to go with it, I don't want to have 3 heels in the final, I need a babyface, so Mystico makes sense of being in there. So I'm hoping, Rush was a bit unhappy with the matchups, so I didn't protect him or anything, so we'll probably give him a bit of money. But you can see a physical condition, low morale, inconsistency, low morale's on Mystico, and the psychology. But yeah, so that means, Mystico wins from the Dynamite side. You're guaranteed the heel because Bryan Danielson-Walter from the ROH side, and obviously just a matter of Will Ospreay and Okada to come. That might be next. I think it is. Yep, it is. So backstage, Kenny Omega just talking to Will Ospreay. He just says, we know we've both got a long history with Kazuchika Okada. Just go out there and give it hell and show the world what you're made of. 88. It's happened again. And about that had sensational wrestling and fantastic heat. Will Ospreay defeats Kazuchika Okada in 31:49 with the Hidden Blade. So I made this one epic to try and really boost it. I gave it a creative finish. Ospreay and Okada have great chemistry, boosted it as well. Usually these two get a selling penalty, which is why I went with all the different things. But yeah, 100 wrestling, 94 crowd, 99 for the segment. But Ospreay retains, so he'll be in the final as well. That was their final match up in my head. So Will Ospreay versus Mystico versus the winner of Walter and Bryan Danielson will take place for the final in the future. And what's the thing that's let us down here? Physical conditions. Which is fair. Obviously they're just got a major tournament, so I'm hoping when we have the bloated roster going forward I can rotate a bit better. It's probably one of my flaws. I have a lot of flaws with booking. Roster's going to be far too big and I don't rest people and try and probably put them through too many matches to make sure we always gain pop. And after the matchup, I just have 10 minutes of Roman kicking the shit out of Will Ospreay, which gets an 80. So the whole kind of angle and story I've been going with is basically Roman saying, "You're putting your bodies through hell going through this tournament. You're all just stupid. says, I'm going to take over this place and I'm going to win that World Championship again. And then I'm going to bring in all the people who are going to be fit, ready to go, and destroy this company from within. It's just a shame that the Usos are absolutely terrible in this stat-wise, and I don't really want to push them. So we do have them on the roster, but I'll try and avoid using them if I can. So overall, because of the boosts of the legendary band and the special set, a good matchup and some okay angles, make sure that we get 100. So we get another show. I think it's my 13th 100 show. So we're doing well on that part. It's just trying to get these matches for this goddamn achievement. As I say, it will always be my aim. But yeah, pretty happy with that one. A few title changes in there as well. And yeah, we're looking good going forward. As I say, 3rd of May in game is going to be my next show. I think it's more a special one because I don't think I made that pay-per-view. And then it's on a double or nothing. But everyone's contracts, I think, is roughly around about either just before or just after Blood and Guts. And then I'm bringing in the likes of Andrade, Cody Rhodes, Drew, Julia, Jade Cargill. Like, I'm taking everything for WWE. Like, I am trying to literally kill that company. And TNA. But as I say, I want all the achievements and it's things I need to do. So I don't know if this will be a regular thing. It certainly won't be under any sort of schedule. It'll just be a case of, when they get booked, I might pop a few up or whatever else, and I'll just explain stories as I go along. So hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you thought. Let me know how you, if you are playing saves yourselves, let me know how you're getting on. And if any are going for the achievements, how far in are you? Let me know what you're still, what's eluded you, and what kind of steps do you take when you try and get a 100 match up, and how many 99s have you had. But yeah, as always, take it easy, and hopefully I'll speak to you all soon. Bye bye.